Hi, y'all. Thanks for coming by. I want to talk about imposter syndrome today. I can't speak. I want to talk about imposter syndrome today. Do you have it? I do. So let's talk first about what imposter syndrome is. Imposter syndrome is not really a diagnosis, so it's not really a syndrome per se. It's kind of more of a state of feeling. I have imposter syndrome a lot of times when I am trying to do something new that I feel like I don't fit into. For example, when we moved to Colorado and I started skiing again, but I wear a 1X or a 2X on my bottom half. So I could not find any ski pants to fit me. And that made me feel like an imposter, like I was not supposed to be skiing. Not being able to find clothing that fits me for a certain sport always makes me feel imposter syndrome. I have a hard time finding clothes that fit me to ski. I have a hard time finding clothes that fit me to cycle. I can find cycling shorts and leggings, but not the ones with the cushion in them. So that's very frustrating. And then it makes me feel like I'm not supposed to be doing this. I am very grateful for all the people who will go out and conquer a sport. Hiking, skiing, cycling, rock climbing, whatever it is that you're doing, that have a body that is not the typical style of that body. You are the ones that are helping those of us that have imposter syndrome feel better. So I also have imposter syndrome when I am in the process of learning something new or trying something new. For example, I do have a side gig besides my teaching. And in that side gig, I am an administrative assistant to a facilitator, a meeting facilitator. And this meeting facilitator goes into meetings with technical people who have degrees in engineering, all different fields of engineering, architecture, environmental science, things like that. And all of these people who have degrees in hard sciences make me feel very intimidated because I feel like I am an imposter. Like I do not have the right to be with them in this meeting room. It always rears its ugly head when I go on one of these jobs. And how do I combat it? Well, the first thing that happens is my anxiety goes through the roof. If I allow it to dictate my behavior, it will impede my asking questions. And asking questions is the most important thing to do in order to learn something new, right? We all know that. I used to have a poster in my classroom that said, "You may never know the answer if you don't ask the question." And that is oh so true. And you always need to think about the fact that if you have the question, probably someone else has the question too. So if I let this feeling impede my asking questions, I remind myself that I'm not going to get any smarter unless I ask these questions. So I force myself to speak up. I force myself to ask questions. I may not do it in the big meeting with everyone there. I may find a time when I can pull someone aside and ask them privately, and that's when I do it. But I do ask the question. The next thing that I do is that I am upfront with people about the fact that I am a teacher, and I've been a teacher for 26 years. I am not a hard scientist. I have not studied any type of engineering, any type of architecture, any type of environmental planning. And that helps me take the stress off of myself. That helps me to not hold myself to the same standard that I was holding myself, that I would hold myself to otherwise. There is no way that I can know the same amount of things that these specialists do, subject matter experts. I am not a subject matter expert. I am a generalist. And what I'm trying to do does not require me to be a subject matter expert. The issue that I have is that many of the people who are in this field, who are meeting facilitators in this field, are subject matter experts. Whether they have degrees or they've just been doing it their whole lives, they understand a lot of what is going on in this field. So I have to remember that I'm learning, and everybody has to learn at some point, and most people are quite patient with me when I'm learning. So I acknowledge that, number one, I'm not an expert. Number two, I work in a separate field and I am just learning this. And number three, I come out and tell people I will be asking lots of questions. And people usually welcome questions. I have never had someone tell me, oh no, you can't ask questions. So that makes me feel a little more comfortable opening up and relaxing. Now, I won't tell you that it conquers 100% of the way that I feel. I still feel like an imposter for most of the meeting. However, it does help. It does allow me to relax a little bit, to ask some good questions, to further my knowledge. And every time that I am able to further my knowledge, I feel a little more confident the next time that I take on one of these projects. So if you have a similar feeling to me, if you feel like an imposter at times, try to take a deep breath, acknowledge that you do not have to be the expert in the room, and tell people you're going to ask a lot of questions. Sometimes even if you are the expert in the room, if you're asking questions of other people, that helps take the pressure off of you, and it invites others into the space. I think focusing less on ourselves and more on others helps us to alleviate that kind of stress and alleviate the need to feel like we should know so much. I hope this helped you a little bit. I know just talking about it helps me. And if you have imposter syndrome, welcome to the club. Leave me a comment down below and let me know how you deal with your imposter syndrome. Maybe we could give each other some tips and help each other out, and that would make me really happy. Take care.